Hey siblings in Mishiak, this is your Gap Tooth Sis, and if it's your first time here, hey hi, my name is Ryan. Here we just chop it up, we chill, and we have a little look into my diary. So, if you think you're gonna catch a vibe, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so today we're gonna kind of get real, and I don't mean like I'm not real on a regular basis here. I think I'm quite honest and open and transparent to an extent, but today kind of feels slightly different, only ever so slightly. Today, I will somewhat expose myself. No, you know what? Dead that. I'm not gonna expose myself at all. I actually have boundaries, Ryan. I'll figure out a way around this actually. No way. We're gonna be having a really interesting conversation today. So as the title kind of suggests, we're gonna be talking about the difficulties of walking that narrow path. Now, whenever I think about this topic, right, this is like one meme that comes into my brain all the time. All the time it comes into my brain. It's this meme.
I'm just a baby.
But you still had to say, okay, mom.
I'm just a baby.
No, because I am just a baby. No, because I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby. But then, like, when I think about it, that's a really bad way of seeing things. Because obviously when you infantilize yourself, you're kind of taking away the onus from your actual actions. And I mean, I know I make stupid mistakes. We all make stupid mistakes, but you can't make the excuse of that you're young in this faith and you're just a babe, or you're just like, I swear, I know for a fact I'm not the only one that does this. You know, like the whole, I'm just a girl. No, because like, a minor inconvenience, I'm just a girl. But let's be real, it's super unproductive having that mindset and staying in that mindset. And I think definitely when you come into this walk, you can't be on that. You can't stay on that baby formula. You can't be on the SMA. Mate, no, you need to have hard food. You need serious food like yam and dumpling and fried chicken and all them things there, because if you stay with that baby formula, you will never develop in your walk. I love my relationship with scripture. I think it's something that's blossomed really beautifully, personally. And obviously it's always continuing to grow and it's always developing and molding and metamorphosing into something different. And I'll be real. I mean, if we can be real here. Yeah, you know, whenever I would be getting that hard food, admittedly, I would spit it out. There were times where I would spit it out, because what do you mean? It's not always easy to take this truth in. A lot of it, when you first come into it, is incredibly hard to digest. I get that. But this journey, despite all its difficulties, has been the best decision I've ever made in my life. Not only in regards to cultivating a personalized relationship with the Most High Yahuwah, but also in learning how to love myself, to which I'm pretty sure I will do an in-depth video on that, because oh my gosh, there's so much to say about that topic. Aside from that, a few weeks ago at congregation, we were talking about, you know, how do you love your brother? A lot of interesting debates, discussions came around that particular topic point, and there's a few things I thought in regards to this. And for me, I think you can really only truly love your brother by following the laws and the commandments, because in turn that shows Yahuwah that you love him, which is also an act of self-love. And I think it's kind of like a really weird but beautiful love triangle. But then the question is, how can you, like literally, how can you love not only yourself but Yahuwah and your brethren whilst walking this very narrow path? Now I'm sure a lot of us are aware of Matthew 7:13 to 14, but for those that aren't aware of it, and for those in the back, let's read it up. Enter ye into the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat. But strait is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth to life, and few there be that find it. I hear it, I literally hear it. And you know what, coming into this truth, yeah, it means it's gonna get awkward for you. It's gonna get awkward, like, and that's, you know, one of the reasons I kind of made this channel. We can all just be a bit awkward together, innit? There's really no way around it. The world is different, you're different from the world. Like, it's gonna be a bit weird for you. You're no longer gonna be quote unquote outside. You're no longer gonna be on the things that you used to be on. Good. And some will say that you are boring. Some will say you are dead boring, babe. But it's okay. And you know what? I've got a video about that linked above. But at the end of the day, you have to come to an acceptance of that, because you cannot serve two masters. You either love one and you hate the other. Now, being in this word means that you are set apart. Some will say holy, but I personally prefer to look at it from the Hebrew because you get a different perspective, a bit more context, etc. So because of that, we're going to look into the Strongs. So this is found in Strong's H6944, which is Kodesh. So what can we take and what can we extract from this word and put it into our own personal lives? Let's have a look. Kodesh means apartness, holiness, sacredness, separateness, and not only that, but it also means set apartness. Now for me, that set apartness, I find that really intriguing, because the question then arises naturally, what does it mean, or what does it look like to be set apart? And admittedly, again, this place is a place of transparency, I actually really struggle with that. Like, I sometimes find myself drifting in and out of the world, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm as set apart as I could be. I think in my mantras and my mindset and like the way in which I move, yeah, like I don't do certain things, or I've refrained from doing certain things as much as possible. But I don't feel like, this is just a general like thing for me, just talking out loud, like I actually don't think I'm as great as this as I should be. And that's something that I really want to develop, like, and actually really hone that in for myself. It's hard because the natural lens will look at you and say you are peculiar. Like, she's a bit of a weird one, you know? But in the eyes of the Most High, it is a beautiful thing to be seen as peculiar. We see Yahuwah describe his children with that exact same word. So because the word peculiar is found like 7 times, and I mean, it makes you think, okay, cool, 7 equals completion. Great, love that, understanding. And I don't really want to go off track, but like the thought of that then makes you think, wow, you know, you being peculiar means you are working straightly and like directly in alignment with creation. You're working in alignment with the Most High's order of things. That's just one of the things that I kind of think about in regards to that. But because we're actually looking at the word peculiar, we might as well go into a bit more, understanding what peculiar means and what that kind of looks like. So let's go back to the Hebrews. We're going to Strong's again. I know, twice in one episode, that's crazy. Twice in one episode. But let's go into the Strong's and let's see what that's giving us. So that'll be Strong's H5459, Sagla. So what does that mean? Let's have a look. So we get words like possession, property, valued property, peculiar treasure. Oh, it's giving. Ooh, sensei, shut up. So Yahuwah is describing you as a jewel. You are different. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you need to start acting like it. I say that because I speak to myself. I speak to myself whilst I say this. Start acting like it. And I mean, like, why not follow your ancestors' footsteps and do up peculiarity? It is your birthright. And it's a beautiful thing to be. Because like, what are we really looking at in terms of like what the world values or what the Most High values? And I think if you're on this channel and you're watching this stuff and you're trying to pursue the Most High, you look at things from a different perspective, you know? What would he like rather than what would I like, or what would the world like, or what would my friends like, what would my family like? The likelihood is he wants you to be peculiar. He wants you to be that weird one, the one that like stands out, the one that doesn't fit in. He loves a bit of that. And you know what? You always have to, you know, you have to formulate really thick skin for yourself in this walk. Some would say an armor. Oh, did somebody say Ephesians 6? I feel like I heard someone say Ephesians 6. Did I not hear it? I didn't hear it. We're going to read it.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armour of Yahuwah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about you with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the breastplate of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Yahuwah.
People are gonna chat, so make sure you have that. Just put it on, innit? Like, I mean, people are gonna chat. Okay, they're gonna think you're off your rocket. They're gonna think you're a cult, which is rude. First and foremost, rude. But you just need to focus on your soul. focus on your salvation and focus on just attaining that inner shalom. Because when I started doing that, life felt better. I mean, yeah, the narrow road is still narrow, but doesn't feel as lonely. It doesn't feel as congested or as tight as it once did. And I don't want you to get it twisted or misconstrued. This road, this narrow path is incredibly tight, but when you start to follow the law, you no longer kind of see it as a restrictive thing. It's very much guided in freedom and agility in that sense. For me, that's how I view it. And I also want to really offer the perspective of the law not being restrictive but protective. And an example that I would think of would be like, okay, cool, in the Big Ten, you mustn't covet, right? Coveting is like being jealous of somebody, looking at what they have and wanting it for yourself and doing things to attain those things as well for yourself. So when you actually disconnect from that sin, you're no longer stressed. It's quite easy. You somewhat have this peace of mind. You're no longer like bombarded by the fiery darts of destruction and self-loathing and comparison. The law isn't there to bind you, but it's there to release the bounds. It's there to release this societal pressure. Like, I mean, not even, there's a lot to say about following the law. And I think, you know, when you start talking about following the law, people get really uptight and vexed about it, to which I don't understand. The Most High said do it. Walking in the law actually does protect you from a lot of harm. It does. And when you actually start looking at it from that perspective, you'll see why he's done that for you, because he wants you to walk safely. But you know what? We're gonna be real here. We're gonna be real. We will be real. There's gonna be times and occasions and seasons, maybe short seasons hopefully, that you come off track, that you fall, and you fall hard. Because we're not perfect. You know, that's just what it is. So when we think about this narrow path description, there is this kind of go-to image, and I might put it on the screen, that we all kind of go to when we think about it, the narrow path. But this is how I kind of see it. Okay, so like you have a path that everyone's walking on, and there are so many distractions, right? And everyone's walking along that dark and dingy path, and that's just juxtaposed with the narrow and winding cobbly stone path, which ultimately leads to like a picturesque future. But I also don't want to negate the paths connecting, which could ultimately lead you back to one road or the other. And I want us to think about that for a second, because yes, the road is trialsome and there will be times you walk back on that widened path, but you have to recognize that you're going off course and you need to course correct. And the beauty of Yah is that he will always give you a path that leads back to him. Now, the image that I kind of decided to use was actually from a more spiritual perspective, because we know that the wide path is spiritually void, obviously, and the path to righteousness is something that ultimately leads to the esteem of the Most High, which is why you see that sunshine in the end and the cobbly road, etc., etc. But when we use our carnal eyes and fleshly perspectives, the road looks different. The paths look different. So we see people walking this wide path, and you know what they're thinking is bloody gravy, mate. This is where it's at. But that's the deception. That's the great delusion. 2 Thessalonians 2:11. And for this cause Yah will send them strong delusion, that they will believe a lie. And you can see the narrow path is darkened and kind of looks ominous, but that unknown, that lonely walk is seen as righteous. It's seen as a righteous act in the sight of Yahuwah. So from the standpoint of your flesh, the road is going to feel uncomfortable. Remember, we're looking at this from our very carnal eyes. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to look uncomfortable. And going against the grain always does. But just know the goal is to endure until the end, and that you've got this. It's about changing. But this year, it's all about changing your spiritual prescription. Because not gonna lie, once that's done, it will no longer feel so void. It will feel purposeful. It will feel Yah driven. And you'll begin to feel like you're walking down that narrow path that we saw in the first image. It will feel like peace. Ultimately, that's what a lot of us want. Because walking down that narrow path will lead to shalom. I mean, I go to bed knowing I have not annoyed. I was gonna say no word. I go to bed knowing I haven't really irritated anybody. Like, I can sleep well. I haven't made mortal enemies of anybody because I walk that path and I try to stay out of as much trouble as possible. Again, a work in progress. I'm still working on myself. Walking in shalom, walking that narrow path, just it weeds down the amount of issues you're just gonna have in general. But I want us to briefly go back to the original question that I lightly posed in the beginning, and I have definitely derailed from that. And that's okay, because, you know, it's my channel and I'm gonna chat what I want to chat. How can you love not only yourself, but Yahuwah and your brethren, especially when this road is so narrow? And I think the best way I can answer this is by actually standing 10 toes deep in this walk. Not veering to the left or to the right, but continuously holding yourself up to that standard and holding yourself accountable. Walking that narrow path. Moving like you're an actual daughter of Yahuwah, because you are. And by doing this, you will not only honor the covenant that your ancestors made with Yahuwah, but you will also honor yourself, and in turn, that will affect the budding relationship that you have with your brethren. But anyways, I'm gonna end it on this. I know it's kind of long. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks for, oh my gosh, wait, sorry. Actually, no, not sorry, but thank you so much for staying for this long. Just chatting. And I hope you took something from this, actually. But you know what? My last statements or points of view or whatever is that, like, the path isn't easy. There will be trials. There will be tests. You will reach what feels like a breaking point. I have many a time. But just know, this walk is not done in vain, and Yah is with you every single step of the way. And you have this. He will not leave you, nor will he forsake you. You've got this. And when you do not have it, when you feel weak, let him lead you. He's the best tour guide I know. I tried to be serious. So you know what, I hope this page from my diary was really helpful. I hope you took a little nugget of wisdom from it, hopefully. I hope you guys have a great day, have a beautifully great day. Please, oh my gosh, like, share and subscribe, and thank you guys so much. Okay, I'll see you guys later in the next one. Bye. Oh my gosh, you watched the video, thank you so much. Make sure you guys like, share and subscribe. All praises unto the Most High. Bye.